When we think about the epic story of human civilization, our minds usually jump to time. We think in millions of years, right? But what if the most important character in that whole story isn't when things happened, but where? Today, we're going to dig into how the very ground beneath our ancestors' feet shaped, well, everything.
I mean, it's the biggest question there is, isn't it? How did we go from these small, scattered bands of people just trying to survive to building the massive, complex world we live in today? It's a huge journey, and the answer is way more interesting than you might think.
And this is where we have to flip the script a little. To really understand this transformation, you can't just look at a timeline. No, the real clues are actually in the dirt, in the mountains, the rivers, the climates of our planet. The answer, it turns out, is geography.
So, let's try something. Let's stop thinking about geography as that boring backdrop in history class. Instead, let's put it front and center. Let's make it the main character in our story, because it's the force that created the problems, offered the solutions, and basically set the entire stage for human history.
So what are we even talking about when we say geography? It's pretty simple, really. It's the study of our world, not just the physical stuff like mountains and oceans, but also the people and the cultures living there. At the end of the day, it's all about the intersection of people and place.
Now, to really analyze how this works, historians have a kind of toolkit. The best way to think about it is like having 5 different camera lenses. Each one gives you a totally unique way of looking at any spot on Earth, whether it's your own backyard or the ancient Fertile Crescent. So here they are, the 5 lenses. First, you've got location, which is just where is it on a map. Then there's place, which asks what's it actually like there. Region helps us group places together that have things in common. Movement is all about how people and ideas get around. And then there's the big one, the one that's absolutely crucial for our story, human-environment interaction. This right here, this is the question that gets to the heart of everything. It's what forces us to see that the relationship between us and our planet isn't a one-way street. It's a constant back and forth, a dynamic conversation that has literally shaped our entire existence. And that question, it's the key. If we can understand how early humans were shaped by their environment, and then how they started to shape it back, that's how we solve the mystery of where we come from. But wait, how do we actually know what happened so long ago?
Okay, so now we hit a major challenge. We're talking about a time way before writing, before anyone was recording history. So how on earth do we have any idea what was going on?
The period we're digging into is called prehistory, and just look at that time frame. It's absolutely massive. We are talking about millions of years where our ancestors lived and died and spread all across the globe, all without leaving behind a single written word.
So if there are no books, no diaries, no tweets, what do we have? Well, we have clues. And to figure out what those clues mean, we need to call in a very special kind of detective.
Meet the archaeologist. These are the detectives of the deep past. They're not looking for fingerprints, they're in the dirt, carefully digging up fossils, which are basically imprints of ancient life, and artifacts, which are the things our ancestors actually made, their tools, their weapons, their art.
I mean, take a simple stone hand axe. To you and me, it's a pointy rock. But in the hands of an archaeologist, whoa, it becomes a chapter in a story. It tells us about technology, about survival, about what someone's day was like thousands and thousands of years ago. This is how we piece it all together.
All right, so with our archaeological clues and our geography lenses, we can zoom in on the single most important moment in human prehistory. It's a turning point so big, so profound, that it changed our species forever. We call it the agricultural revolution.
To really get this, just look at this timeline. The Paleolithic, or Old Stone Age, goes on for millions of years. It's almost the entire timeline. The Mesolithic and Neolithic, the periods where everything changes, they're just these tiny, tiny slivers at the very end. The pace of change just suddenly explodes.
Think about this for a second. For at least 90% of the time humans have been on Earth, we weren't farmers. We didn't live in towns. We were something else entirely. We were hunter-gatherers. For almost our entire existence, life had a certain rhythm. Small groups, constantly on the move, following the herds, knowing which plants to eat, always adapting to new places. Their whole world was defined by that geographic theme of movement and interacting with whatever was right in front of them. And then, the great shift happened. And the contrast is just so stark, it's like 2 different species. On one side, you've got the hunter-gatherer life, small, always moving, living day to day.
And on the other, the agricultural life, big settlements staying in one place, with this brand new game-changing idea, a food surplus. You could actually grow more than you needed to eat right away.
And this is so important to get. The Neolithic Revolution wasn't just about changing what was for dinner. This was a complete reinvention of what it meant to be human. It changed everything about how we live with each other and with the planet.
So okay, all of this happened over 10,000 years ago. Why does it still matter today? Well, because the aftershocks of that revolution created the very foundation of the world you're living in right now.
Think of it like a chain reaction. Once you stop moving, you get towns. Once you have extra food, not everyone needs to farm, so you get priests and soldiers and artists. All of a sudden, people start saying, "This land is mine," which leads to arguments, which leads to war, which creates the need for governments to sort it all out. Every single one of these things is a pillar of our world.
And just like that, we're full circle. The entire domino effect that led to modern civilization was kicked off by changing that one key geographic idea: human-environment interaction. The moment we learned how to control plants and animals, we fundamentally changed our relationship with the Earth.
So, we'll leave you with this. The story of early humans is a story of incredible, mind-blowing adaptation. They survived ice ages, they survived massive changes to their world, all by changing how they lived. Today, we're facing our own set of massive global challenges. The question is, can we learn from our oldest ancestors and adapt as well as they did?